The Municipal Demarcation Board says it's received over 51,000 views and representations from members of the public on proposals to change the Municipal Demarcation Bill. Now, the Department of Cooperative Governance is looking to replace the 1998 Municipal Demarcation Act with a new law that establishes the functions and powers of the Independent Municipal Demarcation Authority. Stick with me. We're going to unpack this for you in just a moment. Some civil society organizations have criticized this proposed bill, saying that it may lead to political interference. Now, the Demarcation Board's CEO, Manye Moroka, joins us here in studio to help us try and understand what's going on. Great to see you. Thanks for coming in, Manye.
Thanks very much.
And that really is the big question from several of the sort of critics that I've read about insofar as this bill is concerned. Changing the boundaries of a municipality to include or exclude certain communities, meaning that there's a real power with this kind of move for political interference.
Very well so. And it is so because it is the community out there that identifies the challenges they face on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
But it is also the political office bearers who may see that as an opportunity to do that. But the Municipal Demarcation Board Act allows us to ensure that we do a thorough assessment to ensure none of those apply. So those opportunistic ways of political interference and what are attended to in the manner in which we operate in terms of the Municipal Demarcation Act. However, you mentioned the Independent Municipal Demarcation Authority Bill.
Right.
Now, that's what Parliament is doing now. It's trying to change the Municipal Demarcation Act, the one that you have now, the one that we use to determine municipal demarcation in terms of the outer boundaries, the redeterminations, the ward delimitations. That's what we use. But the bill is trying to change that. Now, the interference is done because the current act allows us to redetermine every 5 years. The bill is calling to do so every 10 years. Because you redetermine, the municipality starts stabilizing. On the 4th year, we then get a proposal from a member of public or a municipality to say, please change our boundaries. Then that stability is affected.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so political interference is one thing. I understand that with this new bill, there's also this line that says an independent demarcation authority will now be selected by a panel headed by a judge, and no one with a political background or interest is going to be eligible. Does that answer the question of that interference?
It does. Not only that, remember that will be an authority, but that authority will have what we call backup protection in the name of an appeals board. So if you as Michelle are aware of an issue where you're not happy and the authority is not attending to it, it will be referred to an appeal board. And that appeal board, also an independent one, also chosen in terms of a criteria set out in the bill itself.
Okay, so we've dealt with the issue of political interference.
That's correct.
Let's talk about using municipal demarcation to shape particular political outcomes. And this is an important question as we build up to the elections next year, right? Excluding certain communities, certain areas in a municipality or including, and then by doing so affecting the outcomes of an election.
Section 24 of the Municipal Demarcation Act provides clear, logically outlined objectives not to do that. So in other words, and then in terms of Section 25, you now have the factors to address. Then we take out what we call a Section 26 notice to ask comments from the public to ensure that when we go out, we either redetermine or we amalgamate. Now, what you are talking about is the amalgamation. And amalgamation is like a merging exercise. You take that which used to work or that which used not to work. Now, let me tell you where it creates a problem. It's if you take a functional municipality that is viable, and then you, then you sort of match it with one that is not functional. So you're taking Mangaung. Let's take Mangaung for an example. It used to be functional. It used to be getting unqualified reports. But it was then amalgamated with rural towns whose base or income base is very low. when they came on board with lower salaries, but they were paid higher salaries. So it upped the level of viability and sustainability of that metro. So those are the issues that we look at. So we look at capacity assessments, we look at a whole range of things. The type of councillors will be there, how they will be doing their work, are they capacitated, and including the staff. So it addresses all of that. And that's the process that we are currently doing as now. In April, we issued out statements to ask the public, to ask stakeholders, please indicate to us how you feel about proposals made by ordinary members of society and municipalities. That is now closed. Currently what we are doing, we are analyzing all those applications. And those applications are going to come out with 3 determinations. 1, either decline a proposal submitted by Michelle because Michelle has got interest, or suggest that a proposal must go through for formal investigation, where stakeholders, together with members of public, will be engaged. The last one is the most difficult and complex one, which we will be doing August, September, and October, is the public participation. There, communities now get a bite to interrogate whatever that is there, either the do's or the don'ts.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really answer the question of shaping political outcomes, does it? Because, you know, if a particular ward votes in a particular way, and now suddenly the demarcation changes where it falls under in terms of municipal demarcation, that would surely influence how a particular municipality's outcomes, how they're finalized.
You see, that's in the context of me doing it subjectively as the board, but the board does not do that. The board presents to the public.
So you're saying the board is not aware of or doesn't take into consideration those kinds of issues?
No. I'm saying that's an objective test. In other words, if somebody has an interest to inform the political outcome in a particular way, that's a subjective way. The objective way is us opening it up, and it's very transparent, so as not to allow exactly what you are talking about. However, remember, 6 months before the provincial and general election, we must have finalized the redetermination of boundaries. That's intended for that. So it's a very legislative process that's going to end around November, December, January. And if the elections are in June, July, it will influence it in terms of that. But it will influence it in an open way. So you as Michelle will know by September this year whether or not that which you suspect might influence the political outcome in a different way will be expressed there.
So let me ask you this. You know, in the absence of service delivery being at 100% across the board in South Africa,
correct,
what would influence a decision to change municipal demarcation?
It's the capacity assessments that we look at, because we look at the functionality of a municipality. We look at the people who are trying to influence the system to perform and or to do it in self-interest, and we take care of that one, so as not to be appearing as though we inform that. So it may be a political rhetoric where people are saying the Municipal Demarcation Board is used as a political tool for other people to gain, a leeway into leading in a particular area. That's what they say. But in terms of the guide, in terms of the act, that is not how it's supposed to be. So it's just, to us, it's like a myth.
Yeah, my question is, should we not be excellent at service delivery before we even begin to talk about changing demarcation?
We should. That I can safely say we should. However, this process, it's not only about the demarcation board. It's about the structures that work with the demarcation board. Remember, the Municipal Demarcation Board is derived from a particular section in the Constitution, around section 155 or in 152 if you read them. And then you mix that with the Municipal Structures Act. And then you mix that with the Municipal Demarcation Board. So the Municipal Demarcation Board will check in terms of the structures of the municipalities how those are mapped. And then will give a guidance to come to an outcome. And the board determines all of that.
So you've had over 51,000 representations from the public on proposals to change the bill.
Yes.
When does that process close, or has it already?
Okay, let me quickly just indicate to you that 5 years ago, when we did the same exercise, we only had 2,000.
Oh, wow.
Yes, only 2,000 views expressed and representations. But what we did this time around, we wanted to take away the myth of people thinking that the Municipal Demarcation Board just goes out and decides. We then went out and did roadshows around the country. We thought we might come back and get about 4,000. I have a staff of 48 people, a budget of 80 million. Only to find that we have now over 51,000. And of those 51,000, we are now going to have to analyze each one of them. But we do most of the stuff electronically, but now we're going to hit the road. And you must understand that the public consultations are to be driven by the board itself as a political arm. But now I'm going to have to commission my staff to augment that exercise. Yeah. But we will deliver on time.
All right. Manye Moroka is the CEO of the Demarcation Board. Thanks very much indeed for
coming. Thanks very much, Michelle, and thank you guys for allowing me to present our side of the story.
And thanks for the extra information as we continue to track the story.